What's up, homeschoolers? I'm Rebecca and this is Watch Me Homeschool. Thanks for joining me today for a video all about how I am making plans to keep a social schedule, social time, socialization for Geo now that we are a homeschool family. So obviously this entire time during the pandemic, really from like March of 2020 for us, has been stay at home, don't go anywhere, like do not venture out, like outside is the enemy. So, my husband is going to work and we felt like that was enough exposure because he is in sales, he is in contact with lots of people, some people are traveling into the area, and so we felt like in order to limit our exposure to the outside world and potential anything, Gio and I would stay home as much as we possibly could. So I have done obviously some errands here and there, but I'm really trying not to take Gio out at all. Now that we're in August and kind of now into the fall a little bit, I think that we are going to start doing some more controlled experiments with the outside world, if you will, like taking him to certain places that we feel are, not where he needs to like touch a lot of things, maybe won't be as crowded, is more of an open area, or is just a quick in and out, because I got very concerned that like being so young, not that he would forget what the outside world is like, of course not, but like that he just would maybe learn to be afraid, or maybe would be anxious about going out into the outside world, or just have all kinds of feelings that are like latent effects of kind of doing all of this stay at home. And so I was very concerned that that might be something, like there weren't necessarily any signs of that, but I just felt like it might become a thing. And he does always express a preference for home and a preference for our nuclear family unit. And even though when he does get talking to other people, he's Mr. Personality, there was just more of that, more of a prevalence of like, oh, I just want to stay home with mommy and daddy. Oh no, I'd ask him like, is there anything that you miss? Anything you can't wait to go and do when we can do it again? We used to go to Disney all the time. We're in Orlando, Florida. Lots of things like that. So like he is excited to like be able to go to a restaurant again. There's certain things at Disney he's mentioned, but for the most part he hasn't. And he hasn't said much about missing the teachers that he had at his little preschool where he went, or his friends. And so that's where I kind of really said, all right, not only just in general, whether we were homeschooling or not at this point in time, which was kind of over the summer, I'm like, we need to really get some social stuff going. And then also now that we have made the decision to homeschool for the 2020-2021 school year for his VPK pre-K year, again, he's 4 to 5 years old. I'm just really trying to line up a social schedule, if you will. So this video is all, sorry, that was super long-winded. So this video is all about the tips and things that I'm doing and the things that we kind of have lined up to help create a little bit more social time for him. So the first place I went to is our friends and neighbors and family. And so, we're kind of good about FaceTiming and kind of not good. So we talked with my husband's sister, and then she has girls that are a little older, like one just turned 10, the other one might be 8. And so they're still kind of, doing their reading and whatever. And so we made up a time where twice a week, the girls are going to read to Geo over FaceTime. And so that was a great family time that, we FaceTime here and there, but not as much as we should. So this is now a structured thing. Like that mom and I are very much like structured. If we don't schedule, it doesn't happen. Like we're by the book kind of people. So we set up twice a week where her girls would take turns reading a story to Geo. And that has been going really well. We started it now. We'll probably change the times to go along with their school because they're doing virtual school and what we're doing. But I think we are going to keep it through the school year. Whether we keep it the whole time through the school year, I don't know. But at least for now, it's a great way to keep in touch with them, to be social with older kids, to have face-to-face time as best as we can get it right now, and have a little bit of more story time and that peer time, not just always mommy doing the teaching and the learning and the reading, but another child. So for us, that's super cool. And I think if you can work something like that out with friends or family, that would be great. Perhaps you might even find kids that like used to babysit and now they can't babysit because nobody wants to mix up. And so maybe they could do that over FaceTime and you can pay them a little bit. I don't know. These are just things off the top of my head. So the friends and family story time FaceTime. Next is story time in the park. So in our little community, we have a little park, and there are several families that have Geo age kind of kids. So I think what I'm gonna do, we need it to be a little bit cooler. Again, we're in Orlando, Florida, and so it is hot, hot, hot. So I do not want to be sweating reading a book, but I think we could all go to our little park. We have a little Facebook group for just our community, and I think I'll post in there once a week, hey, Gio and I are going to be at the park. I'm bringing this story, bring your blanket, bring a snack, come and have story time, because everyone can sit on their own little mat. They can have their masks on, or they can eat their snack. They can still be socially distanced. We're outside, and really probably from September, maybe not early September, but somewhere in September to at least December, we should be able to do that once a week in the morning time and have no weather problems. So I think that that will be a really great way for him to see the other kids in the community. You know, maybe we can figure out ways where they could play after story time in a safe way, but they can still socially distance. They don't necessarily have to wear a mask if they can stay apart from each other, and we can get a little story time going. So I think that will be really cool. We haven't started it yet, but that's the plan in my head, and the community doesn't know it yet. We're gonna do it. And you know, if anything, if no one shows up, Gio and I will just have story time in the park, and that's fine too. So story time in the park, or some sort of local thing that you can figure out. Neighbors. So again, as I said, we do have some kids in the neighborhood that are Gio's age. And so I talked with some of the other moms that are voluntarily keeping their kids home. And we talked about, you know, setting up some strategic, structured play dates, once a week type of thing. So the kids that we are working with, they do have a nanny because the mom works from home. So she has a nanny for the two kids, and Gio's like right in the middle of ages with those two kids. So it's perfect. And so once a week, me and the nanny will have them get together and do a play date. So I'm kind of thinking of like, you know, bubbles used to be a great idea, but now with all the blowing, like we're not doing bubbles, but like chalk, they can each separately be doing their chalk. Or basketball, if they each have their own basketball, Gio has a little basketball hoop, they can all throw their own ball into the basketball hoop and take turns and still play while being separate. So there are, you know, it does take a little bit of thinking. You can't just do your normal stuff, but there are things that you can do outside. And again, we'll have weather on our side because we are in Orlando, Florida. For those that need to be indoors coming into the winter, you're going to have to be even more creative, I think. But, you know, there's still options for that. So seeing what's going on with your neighbors, if they have kids around the same age, kind of doing something like that and setting it up to where, say, listen, I'm crazy all over the place. I'm sure you're crazy all over the place. You know, if we don't set a time, you know, we're never going to do it. So let's set a weekly time and try to get together once a week. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you have to cancel, that's fine. Like, keep it easy breezy, because I know some people are very like anxious to reach out, and I am not shy. So I have done that. And then the other thing, which is kind of the bigger thing that I wanted to talk about, is like utilize Facebook. It is amazing how much connection can be made with Facebook on a national scale and international scale, but also right in your own backyard. And so I've been reaching out on the moms groups, sharing information as I find it, asking questions as I find it, looking for groups, looking for other like-minded people that are in a similar situation that I am. So I actually made a post. I said, like, this is a speed dating post. I need a mom friend with a mom, like with a kid around Gio's age. Here are my preferences. Here's my criteria. Do you want to be our, you know, play date friend? I have no problem doing that. It is very weird. It is very much like speed dating, but I don't mind putting myself out there. And I did have a couple people reach back out because I said, you know, we're doing social distancing. We're being as safe as we can. You know, I'd want the kids to meet outside, preferably a boy, Gio's age, preferably with no siblings. And I said all of that because we do have girl friends that we can play with, and we do have boy friends that have siblings. And so we have all of them in our circle and can do that. But what I find is that it's hard when there are siblings involved because we're already trying to manage the being safe and social distancing thing. Now on top of it, we have like this, you know, the baby or an older kid or whatever, and it's just more to kind of like manage in this situation. So I was really trying to just find someone that had an only child like I do, like with Gio, so that they can just play and we can talk and it can be pretty simple and manageable. So we haven't exactly found anyone yet. I talked with a couple of moms over the phone because I wasn't just going to meet people, you never know. But I did talk with a couple of moms over the phone, and it just, you know, you got to find the right fit. I mean, it's really hard. It is like speed dating in that way. You need to be able to find somebody that's kind of similar to you that you would like to chit chat with for an hour while the kids are playing. You don't want it to be awkward, and you know, you want the kids to get along and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to keep trying to find some other people to bring them into our circle, but I do have other people in our circle that we can then obviously have our play dates with. So looking for play dates, looking for homeschool co-ops. I haven't really found one in my area. I don't even know that I want to do that because that seems very like official. So I don't know how I feel about the co-op thing yet. I'm very new to this, obviously, as you know, and so I don't know about it. So I could just be making snap judgments, but I haven't seen anything that seems that way. We do have a homeschool group that's local, and so I've kind of creeped on that group a little bit, but I haven't done too much with it. So that's there to just kind of see what people are asking, see what people are answering, get support, get your questions answered. So get in there for those reasons, of course. See if there is a local group that way. Then if there isn't one, start one, because people are looking for these groups all the time. We have a really active local Facebook group. Like all the moms are like, there's multiple moms groups. There's multiple moms buy, sell, trade groups for kids stuff, for mom stuff, for women stuff, for this. Like there's so much. There's stuff for your little community, then the larger community. Like there's so many groups in our area that you can just pop in and out of them and get all the information that you could ever possibly want. So find the moms groups, find the homeschool groups, find the homeschool co-ops, all of that. Then if you want to go outside of your area, there might be like state ones. So I have seen some Florida homeschool groups, which odds are someone from your local area will be in those state ones. And so that's an option too, because they might have ideas for like field trips and stuff like that. That's kind of where I was going with ours. I saw a lot of Florida homeschool ones, and I feel like that might be cool for when we do want to venture out a little bit more and can do some like field trips and stuff. And stay tuned on field trips because I'm researching virtual ones and ones that we can do while being safe and like socially distanced. So that information is coming out soon. I'm working on that on the side. Then the other thing is buy, sell, trade groups in your area if you're looking for things on a budget for your homeschool. So this really isn't about being social necessarily, but I wanted to throw it in there that I have purchased stuff. I haven't recently, but I have purchased a lot of stuff for Geo on our local kids buy, sell, trade groups. I've sold a ton of stuff. And that really helps because if you're done with something and it's still in good shape, try to sell it before you go and do anything else with it. Like try, because you can take that money, any money that I get from stuff of Geo's, I just put it in his college fund. Like that's exactly where that money goes, because that way it's like the person that gave him this gift, let's say it was a Christmas gift or whatever, it's like they're giving to him twice because they gave him the gift to play with. And now when I sell that thing that he doesn't play with anymore because he's past it, now that money goes in his college fund, and that's like a second gift from that person. So that's what I do with all his stuff. Again, that wasn't social related, but I guess you might meet someone that has a similar age kid, perhaps in a transaction, who knows. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I did start a Facebook group. This is not a local one. This is for whoever one. It's called New Homeschool Moms, and it's linked in my Instagram. It's going to be linked in the video description. So check it out, join it. It's more really like for our community, but I'm imagining other people will find it, because it's just on Facebook and searchable. I feel like sometimes Facebook is an easier way to communicate and like be a little bit more long-winded or share something or whatever. So for me, I have the Watch Me Homeschool Facebook page for the channel, but then I also started the New Homeschool Moms Facebook group. That's for anyone, so that we can kind of chit chat in there, and I can share some stuff and you guys can share some stuff and whatever. So if you find a good resource or whatever. So Facebook has a lot of ways to help friends and family, FaceTime, story time, things like that, making your own little story time in a local park, neighbors. And then I did put down, which we haven't done this yet, but library and local preschools. And I put this because I don't know, like each area is different. Local preschools may offer play date options or parents' night out things, or just they may be doing more things now, or maybe they always did, to kind of like bring the community more into what they're doing, because maybe they're not making as much because kids are staying home or whatever. Like I know the preschool that Gio was going to and was supposed to go to, they started like a lab where kids that don't go to that school could go if the other kid goes to that school and do their virtual learning work so that the parent could go to work, which I thought that was a really great way to kind of expand their customer base. Anyway, so I may reach out to his school and just say, hey, is there something that you have for those that chose not to go to your school anymore, where you can put us in touch? Like they're very big about not giving out the contact information, so I don't know that it's going to work out, but you may have a different situation in your area where the local preschool would allow people to connect in some way, and that way you can make play dates outside of the school. Who knows? I don't know. And then the library, I'm still kind of hesitant about actually going to the library. We have a great service with our library in Orange County, Florida, where you can order the books online and they ship them to you. So it's like amazing. I don't have to go anywhere. I've been getting all these books delivered to my house every day. Like it's just awesome. So we really haven't had a need to go to the library. The library is doing virtual programs and stuff online on their YouTube channel. We kind of did one or two and he wasn't super all about it. So I might try that again and see if they're still doing the virtual events for the kids, like a story time and arts and crafts and things like that. So we're going to try to do those, because it was like a Zoom, so you could see the other kids and you could see the teacher, but that they had you guys all on mute. That way nobody was like making a giant ruckus. But you should have seen these kids. Oh my God. Gio had this face on like I'm torturing him sitting there by being there. And then these other two kids, it was like a brother and a sister, and they're like going at it, like fighting. And then some other kids sitting there like, whoa, like, and it's like, if you are a Zoom person that you have to do that for your job and you know how ridiculous it can be with adults on there, just imagine what it's like with like multiple kids on a Zoom meeting. Like it's so crazy. But anyway, so we may try that again, because like I said, our library is so awesome. I want to support them, and I appreciate everything that they're doing and trying to like navigate this crazy time. And I would like for Gio to get to know the technology side of it, get to know that you can do these things over the internet, those interwebs, and, you know, see other kids, see what they're doing, see what they're like, you know what I mean? Just this time is so critical for them to be social. It's just such a bummer that he's not able to do that in a normal way. But I'm committed to this. Like, I'm gonna try to figure out any which way I can to give him every opportunity to be with other kids, because, you know, it was my husband and my decision to make him an only child, and it's not his fault. And so while he is a super fun guy and super social and has a great personality, I'm afraid that that will dwindle if he doesn't have that interaction. You know, he and I have a great time, we're silly together, but it's not the same as another child. And so if you do have an only child, consider these things, because I'm not saying what to do. I'm just sharing my journey here and my thoughts and my opinion. You do whatever, I'm not judging anyone. And I would hope that you would all return the favor and not judge me. But we can't overlook these things, because we don't know how important it is and what the latent effects of all of this will be on us, on them, on, you know, whatever. And so all of that's not going to come out until later. And I just want to try to head anything I possibly can that could be construed as a negative effect of the pandemic and staying home and not being out in society as much as we used to be. You know, head it off at the pass if I can, in a safe way. So I hope that some of these tips are helpful for you. They may all be common sense stuff, but I thought it was worth noting and worth talking about in case one of these is something you haven't thought of. If you have an idea, and this is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, if you have an idea, share it with me. I want to know and learn from you just as much as I want to share with you. So put it in the comments below what you think of these things that I've talked about, what things you're doing, what things you've already done or plan to do, or what you think is going to work. Just tell me stuff, like just whatever, leave a comment. I read and respond to all of them. I think it will be helpful to the other people that are watching the channel as well. So leave a comment and say hi. Like this video on your way out so that YouTube will tell other homeschooling moms about it. and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so we can hang out again. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I'm having a great time doing this channel. I hope you're having a great time watching it and getting something out of it. And as we kick off the actual school year, which for us, we're gonna do September 2nd. Right now I'm in all of my planning mode. Once I actually get cracking on all of that, I'll be sharing lots more of the school shenanigans. But right now it's all just, prep work. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one. Happy homeschooling. Bye.